we're going to try this again.
Yeah.
So we're just going to sit tight for a minute and hope that this works.
It should work.
Yeah.
It's not the first time we've done this.
Hopefully it's like bright enough. We didn't really angle the lights right, but that's okay.
It's a
I
rush
think
job.
they can see us. I just got a text from someone though that said that the chat didn't work. Hey Angel, so the chat's working. Can you hear us? Good. Hopefully.
Yeah, I must have messed something up the first time.
I have no idea how to use this thing. Like this is like, what is this called?
Greek?
You're funny.
I'm hilarious.
So how's it going, guys? How's it going? Did you see the super, super long video that I posted today?
That was fun to film. Like I enjoyed filming that one.
Hands down, one of my favorite videos. Honestly, like every video we film together, I walk away feeling good.
Yeah.
Like it's therapy for us. Like it's just more therapy for us, and we always end on like such a better note. I always understand you a little bit better.
Yeah.
And there's always something I feel like we get clear.
So Angel, what program do you use for chat? The chat is handled by the YouTube like website, the streaming like the
Streamlabs, right?
yeah, OBS Streamlabs is what I use to use the webcam, with our garbage webcam, and I need a better one.
Yeah, and it kind of like you have to link through the one program and then go back into the live stream through YouTube, like in your browser.
There is a way for me to do everything in OBS Streamlabs, but I haven't
Figured it out.
I haven't spent the time on it like I should.
Yeah.
I just try to shotgun there, like wing it at the last moment. That's all.
So yeah, we wanted to just come hang out. I know that I didn't get the video up until late today, which was not my expectation. I had totally planned on having it up this morning, but it was so long that it was hard to get it up.
It's a lot of editing.
It was, well, the editing was done. It was uploading it and just getting it. The thumbnail I didn't have done, but we did have a few more questions that I wanted to kind of go over and answer from there. And we've had a pretty mixed response to it so far, like the new video. We're almost at 3,200 subscribers. Like, holy crap, that blew up fast. And I've had such a good response lately. Like, we've been getting some really amazing comments lately, and I really like it.
There's always more good than bad.
Yeah.
Than bad. Always.
I know that people, like, I know that I describe you in a not so great light, but it's the truth. It's your personality disorder. It's not, like, you're not any less of a person because of it. It's just who you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so annoying.
My expectations for strangers on the internet is very low.
Mine is too, but it doesn't get any less annoying to have them say the same three things over and over and over again.
Right.
But yeah, so
questions?
You want to answer the questions?
Yeah, questions.
Okay.
Hit us with a question until.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions while you're here, go ahead and ask them. And you can ask them about us, about anything, and like this video while you're at it.
Right.
But the question was, if you encounter a sociopath or someone with ASPD in real life, is it obvious? Will they be able to figure it out?
So I think that with a little bit of time spent with a person with ASPD, I definitely know, because I see behaviors that I recognize in myself, and I think it's actually pretty easy to tell.
What about for a neurotypical person?
Just look at the most irresponsible criminal in your vicinity, and that's
like the black sheep in your family.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not necessarily, but like in my family, the black sheep has ASPD.
The person who can't quite seem to get it together despite maybe having a halfway decent head on their shoulders.
Yeah. Is it still going good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't think that a normal person would be able to spot someone with ASPD.
Probably. They're not looking for it.
Not until you are manipulated and taken advantage of. Because they're gonna want to sweet talk. If they are manipulating you, they're gonna want to use you, which means they're gonna be sweet talking you. They're gonna be gassing you up. You know what I mean? They're not gonna be out. I think people think a sociopath is like sadistic and like hurting them, and just they can be, but most of the time you're just going about your life. Like I don't think anybody would know. Like I don't think anybody at Turkey Hill would know.
No.
I don't think anybody at the grocery store would know.
You have to spend time with people. Yeah.
I have another dog in my lap, and I'm throwing dog hair around now.
Don't pet the dog no more.
And this is the hairiest one. I think that for me, even after we dated, I didn't truly know what was going on until I was in college. And I studied psychopathy and I studied like personality disorders and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's what Greg was." And I dated a lot of guys that were narcissistic that I believe had narcissistic personality disorder, and that was a whole different can of worms. Like
I'm
scarier
sure.
for me. And I don't know, I don't study that one like I study ASPD. Like when I say I study ASPD, Greg came home yesterday and I had like 10 browser
So
tabs
many
of research
tabs.
articles that I was reading. I just like to educate myself. I like to stay as on top of it as I can.
It's also fascinating.
Yeah.
Like the human brain is endlessly fascinating.
I love studying human behavior.
We got one in the chat.
Well, here, answer
Go
the
ahead.
second half of this one. So
Go
the
ahead.
second half of that question is, can you share specific examples of how they might manipulate you or personal examples of how you've manipulated someone? I was thinking about this. I have an answer.
I'm bad at specifics, man.
Yeah. Well, your manipulation usually was in relationships.
Yeah.
What about, like, I would say you manipulated people for money, especially during active addiction, but that's an addict thing. I don't think that's necessarily like an ASPD thing.
But actually, I kind of ended up manipulating my partners into manipulating their people for money. I never really had like
Yeah, you didn't have anyone to ask for money.
no, so I got other people to ask for money. I
Yeah,
don't.
that's a good point.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that you manipulated me to pay, like,
hi Jess.
we both took care of the bills and stuff, and, like, I wouldn't say that you manipulated me during our relationship because we were so codependent and relied on each other so much during our addiction that, like, it was a mutual choice to be together.
Our energy was focused outward
Yeah.
in a team effort to like
Manipulate the world
yeah.
into helping us
Yes.
stay addicts.
Exactly.
Then
You're touching him again. You're gonna get fur everywhere.
I won't. Got a little bubby down here.
A little bubby?
A little bubby.
He's a big bubby.
Okay, we can answer the question. It says, a question for Greg. If a person with ASPD tells you they haven't cheated physically on you, how can you actually believe that?
So if I'm assuming that person is like me, then I'm just like, you're probably
Yeah.
because it's so foreign to my experience that like, of course, I think everyone else is just like me. Like that's kind of one of those like paradigms that you function with under day-to-day
You
life.
assume everybody has a life like yours,
Yeah.
beliefs like yours, values like yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that cheating is, regardless of if they have ASPD or not, you can tell if they're cheating because their behaviors, there's a big behavior shift.
Well, so like they're just
unless I've always just dated idiots that didn't know how to hide cheating.
I mean, probably that, but like, yeah.
It's like they should, if they're not cheating, they should be able to show that they're not cheating. They should be able to give you enough attention, not have to touch their phone, not be distracted, be accountable. Know where you should know where they're at, who they're with, and like.
You just want to catch a cheater,
right? I do. I can tell you all these different ways.
You have experience.
Check the contacts in his phone because he's probably stored their number under a different name.
Yeah.
Check the Snapchats because you can edit their usernames. You can check the phone logs to see what numbers they're calling repeatedly and where they're from if you are on the same phone plan.
Did you do that one?
Hell yeah. I did that like the first time we dated. That's how I found out you were down in Maryland visiting Amanda.
Oh.
Calling Amanda because she was a Maryland number.
Jeez.
Throwback there. And then you could.
This is why I'm not gonna cheat anymore.
Buy a GPS tracker.
It brings out the very worst in you. It's just the
very
worst.
The very worst in me.
Yeah.
You're funny.
That's when I'm at my worst. So
yeah.
I'll bring you down to my level.
Yeah, we're both not good. And Emerson is at his Grammys tonight. And we got a couple hours free. We arranged this earlier this week. I was going to do this as the actual Q&A right now, and I'm glad that we opted out of that because we filmed for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And the video was still an hour long.
And I can only imagine us getting distracted and just it being a mess.
Yeah. We filmed it. We actually only filmed for an hour and 15 minutes, and the video itself was an hour and 5 minutes. That's how much, like, when I say we don't edit those videos, like, we don't edit those videos.
I mean, those were all first take, like, dealios.
Yeah, I wish that people understood that. I would like them to know. They're like, well, someone tried to say that a script would be good. I was like, I can't have a script for this because
Yeah.
it would be so inauthentic. I want us to be as genuine as possible. Jess said, Reasoner don't have passcodes. We have the same passcode.
Yeah.
And he answers the text all the time. Yep. Yeah. Greg's replied to you too. And like, it's just nice to know that like, and my notifications go to his phone. And the only thing
Some
is
of 'em.
text don't, but like Facebook messages and stuff like that, anything on YouTube goes to him. It's convenient, and I like having that. And we even share passwords, which is not good, but totally safe. Don't hack us.
Right. I
Angel,
mean, I've gotten better with my security recently.
yeah, we try, but then we share the same. Like we have LastPass for our password managers, and those are connected. Our Google accounts are connected. Like,
Why are you telling them all our secrets?
well, they're not
I'm just kidding.
passwords.
I'm kidding.
They can't figure that out
It was a
unless
joke.
they got like one of those data encryption things.
Right.
But Angel said, "This is why I'm single. I don't trust people, and at this point in my life, I don't have the energy for that nonsense." Girl, I'm gonna coach you on that.
Right.
We'll have a conversation because you. I mean, it's totally fine if you don't want to do that, but like trust is something that you should have. You should be able to trust other people, even if
Right.
you don't want to date. You should still have a better opinion. And I know your story. I understand. I completely understand. But like, I want to make you see how
There's people
worthy
who are
you
worthy,
are.
yeah, worthy of trusted and being trusted. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Not everyone is that.
Yeah.
And when you run into ones that are not trustworthy, it's draining.
Yeah. I would highly recommend that you do not invest your time in staying with someone that has broken your trust because
Bad
that
idea.
takes a long time. That took us fucking
Too
5
long.
years, like a long
Very
ass
long time.
time. And I I would never that's why sometimes I guess that's my biggest hesitancy with coaching is I'm afraid that people are going to be like, "Well, look at your relationship. It was so toxic." And I'm not trying to tell you that I'm going to make this happen for you.
Right.
I'm trying to tell you I learned how to love myself through this. I learned how to love myself, and then I learned how to demand the love that I deserved because of this.
It just as easily could have ended with us this not working.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? We could have put in all that effort and like discovered that there was something that was a deal breaker for you or something that was a deal breaker for me. It just so
Yeah.
happened to be that
We just worked out.
yeah.
I said that to someone. Someone was talking, and they're like, "Just know that it's safe to always assume that to expect the unexpected with Greg. That one day he could just up and leave." And I was like, "So could I."
Yeah.
I could lose interest. I could find someone else and think the grass is greener. I could get bored. I could fall out of love. I could do all of that stuff could even happen while we're actively trying to be good to each other.
Right.
Like that's life. Like sometimes shit changes. Sometimes you go through terrible situations that change who you are as a person. Sometimes that makes you stronger. Sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
And I just learned to live life one day at a time. And I really
And less back then and
yeah.
more right now.
Yeah, I don't live in the past and I don't live in the future. I plan for the future, but I don't live there because I want what if I don't get that? What if something
Future's
terrible
always
were to
changing, man.
yeah, something at any losing Jenna and then losing Brent and Scott and Molly and Vince and like
Everyone.
yeah, it's just one day they're there and then one day they're not. Brent and I had plans to hang out and then the next weekend he was dead. Like
Future's always changing.
yeah, you just cannot bank on that. So I live every day. I leave every conversation with Greg and with Emerson as if I won't ever get another one.
Yeah, got to.
Yeah,
Because you don't want to regret anything, man.
Yeah, and people are like, sometimes that freaks people out because it's like, oh my gosh, it gives them an existential crisis.
Like it's fatalist or something.
Yeah,
you know.
It's like it might sound cynical or it might sound like bad, but it's good.
It's realist.
Freeing.
It's real. It's just being a realist. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's acknowledging that like sometimes life just does stuff.
Yeah, and you have no control over it. So focus on what you can control, which is right here, right now.
Right.
And I had to learn all of that over the last 5 years. I was not always like this. I was much more neurotic and just I tried to control everything that I couldn't control, and it got me absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yep. Okay, I got another question still.
Sure.
So do you think that there's validity to the whole notion That sociopaths are made and psychopaths are born.
It is never so simple as that. It's
And-
always nature and nurture.
But is there validity to it?
What's the read again?
That
Do you think there's validity to the whole notion that sociopaths are made? I think that no, because the distinction is like kind of nebulous at best anyway, and like it is. I think you could be born with a predisposition to do certain things, but you could grow up in such a way that that never gets triggered and you're perfectly fine. Or you could grow up in such a way where some of those things get triggered and you become partially bad.
Yep.
And a whole mix of the two.
I don't have any links to it right now, but there was a study done by an actual psychopath. He was doing MRIs and brain scans on people that had scored high on the psychopathy checklist, not ASPD, they didn't mention any personality disorders or anything like that. It was just the psychopathy checklist that they were focused on. And these people have certain areas of their brain that do not light up, and they have smaller activity, like less activity in a certain center, like part of their brain. I can't remember what it was. I want to say it was the nucleus accumbens. Fucking hate that word.
Doesn't matter.
And he had this, and he was not a psychopath by society standards because of his environment.
But
so
the
what they're
genetic part
saying is that
was
you have a genetic predisposition. They have identified a gene and
a
actual
physical
brain
structure anyway.
structure that activates this. And if you grow up and have trauma, sexual abuse, neglect, abandonment, that will actually activate that, and you will be more likely, then it's going to happen. But if you grow up in an environment that is good, it might not activate at all. But he did have antisocial tendencies. Now that I'm looking back on it, it's like, oh, he has ASPD. But they didn't say that in the article.
Right.
So I get it. It's like your childhood was phenomenal.
Yeah, I had no complaints.
Yeah. Things happened that kind of shifted the way you developed emotionally, but
Right.
you have loving parents, like money, support, sports, like girlfriends, friends, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think that really played a big role in you being able to grow out of it as early as you did. Plus, you're smart.
Right on. Jess asked if it bothers me when people call me a sociopath. Not particularly, because it's usually just people on the internet.
Yeah.
And people on the internet are people on the internet.
Right? Like, can you imagine?
Not any of you lovely people. Like, you are all beautiful, beautiful people that I love very much. But the people that you call derogatorily.
Oh yeah, there are people out there. There's so much misinformation out there, and people just think that I'm trying to they think I'm looking for validation for our relationship, and it's like that is so far from the truth. I'm actually just sharing my experience. I'm just bringing awareness to it. I can't. There are people watching our videos for so many different reasons. There are people watching it because they might have had an emotional experience, and they're just looking for validation themselves. There might be people with ASPD that are looking to feel connected or not, less alone.
Yeah.
There could be family members. There could be curious minds out there that are just like, I want to learn about this.
The audience is vast.
No connection to that. I don't care. Like, that means nothing to me. I am sharing my story to bring awareness to the fact that you don't fit the stereotype.
Right.
Boom. What they think about us doesn't
change. We're trying to tell you that everyone is like every person with ASPD is like me.
This is what happened to me, so this is what's gonna happen to you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, even if it does, let me live my damn life.
It's okay.
I actually don't.
You're spending too much time in the comments.
I don't think it bothers me that much because, think about the last thing that got me worked up on YouTube.
Yeah.
How bad that was compared to this.
Yeah.
That had me heated, crying, pissed, wanting to lash out and make videos. This just makes me more determined to continue sharing my story because I believe so strongly in what we're doing.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. He's just
as long as you're using your powers, we're good.
Yeah. When it if it gets to the point where I am taking it personally, if it makes me cry, then I'll know something's wrong.
Yeah.
But it hasn't done that yet.
Good. Because they're just
because they don't know.
Well, not only that, right?
And they probably had a valid experience.
Exactly. Yes.
See, and then people say that I put words in his mouth, but I I knew what he was thinking there.
Yeah, happens a lot. Happens all the time.
I think that I don't know. I think the funniest thing to me is when they say everyone else in the comments agrees that you have a toxic relationship. It's like, well, everybody else in the comments doesn't know me. Like, they never met me. They probably only watched this one video. So, all of my subscribers prior to this video, all of my friends in real life, like, no one has ever said anything. No one has ever called you a sociopath, even not knowing your diagnosis.
Most people would probably be inclined to think that I'm not more than anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is like,
You're
also,
nice to people.
yeah.
Whoa, holy crap, Bubby, that's
Yeah, he's very
put him
furry.
down. I don't want
I can't. He's not trying to go nowhere.
Okay.
And Jess, thanks for all the kind words, man. But yeah, everything exists on a spectrum.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. Things are complicated. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. Spotted Elephant said, I think each person is different in the severity of different diagnoses. Yeah, and the crazy thing about it is, like, he could be really bad on one aspect of it. Like he can't plan for the future or remember things, right? It's probably really loud when you lean in.
Yeah, and I said my butt.
So he can be really bad on, like, this feature of it and, like, really good on this feature, and it's not like this even continuum like people think it is. It's not a linear thing. But Victoria said, Megan, you seem so much happier since you talked about quitting your job and opening up about things.
She is.
I fucking am. I am. I did not realize how depressed I was.
Well, and like this whole, you're being able to have a creative outlet and like you are doing everything that makes you happy and that you want to do. Like, of course you're happier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't really have to do much of the things you don't want to do.
Socialize with people, like, I get to control the socializing that I do. I get to be honest about, like, my neuroatypical self and talk about his neuroatypical self, which is, like,
freeing.
It's not something that we talk about. Even we talk about it together, but, like, we don't talk about it to that many people.
The world's not necessarily ready.
Family members aren't even ready to hear about his diagnosis. Family members that have known, they should have known about his diagnosis for years.
Yeah, you see the person you want to see.
Yeah, we want to see.
I remember the person,
we want
the sweet baby angel that you.
Yeah, that person existed too.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I would. Happy memories are better than sad memories or bad memories.
Yeah.
But how do I check my? I guess I'm assuming this is it to me.
Yeah.
Mario says, "How do you check your impulsivity? Are you on meds? Medical marijuana. That's about it."
Yeah.
I guess it works.
I am prescribed Adderall.
Cannabis.
I have ADHD and I take that.
Yeah.
So.
Does that check your impulsivity? Does it help?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think impulsivity is something, well, it can sustain my attention longer, which means I can think about something longer before I act, but I wouldn't go so far as saying that it makes me less impulsive. I think, actually, when I don't take it, I buy a shit ton of stuff and, like, go crazy, like, eat all the junk food in the world. So, yeah, it does check my impulsivity.
Good.
Anytime that I buy a ton of makeup or anything, it's because I've stopped taking my medicine. Which I sometimes don't want to do now that I'm not working. I'm way less depressed. Everything is more managed. It just doesn't feel as necessary right now.
Yeah, but you want to maintain homeostasis.
Right? I'm always like, I don't need my medicine. I'm good.
Yeah, that's...
And then things fly off the
Yeah, right. It's good because you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people with mental health have the issues.
That is the rubber banding.
Yeah. So let's see. Davida said, yay, I'm late to the party, but this is a nice way to spend my break. Oh, yay.
Thanks.
Happy to have you here. Heather said, you have to let go of the past. You should live in the present and look forward to the future. That's the best way to live. Absolutely. And I was so stuck in the past my entire life. I literally beat myself up over things I did years ago. It's because I didn't treat my ADHD and I had, like, racing thoughts my entire life. And I would relive memories or certain situations over and over and over again. And it was just painful.
Right? Just inflicting
pain
sleep, on yourself for literally no reason.
There were times, I haven't had any incidents like this for a while, but, like, I would remember, like, high school trauma, like, in shame, something just embarrassing. Out of nowhere. Yeah, out of nowhere. And it would hurt me just as much as it hurt 16-year-old Megan. And I would confide in him about it, and it, like, kind of was freeing. But
But
I
if that's such a foreign, it's so foreign to my experience that it's like hard for me to actually
yeah.
know what that's like.
Yeah. I still have things that I haven't quite let go of, but they pop up
So
randomly.
much better. Like
Yeah.
I noticed the difference in you.
Thanks, I do too. Um, Spotted Elephant was I was recently diagnosed with PTSD. She was doing EDMR, but I just told her my past of what people did to me, and it doesn't bother you. I'm bothered by what I did to my kids. Shame and guilt consumes. Yeah, toxic shame,
Yeah.
and that can be hard. That was, I think, a hard part. Like, I think I didn't fully get through that until last year. Last year is when I really worked,
Mm-hmm.
especially with regards to like my recovery, because the Scott thing we had worked through. I felt like we got through that over the past couple years, but like, I don't know. I just held a lot of personal resentments. I
Yeah.
hated myself for the things that I did. And I didn't have anyone to tell for the longest time. Getting back together with Greg was nice because he was there when I did those things.
Right.
But still, I like beat myself up because my sister and I have a strange relationship at times because of the things I've done in my past. And shame is hard, but you can get through it. I would recommend a book. I don't know if you're open to a book, but Who Ordered This Truckload of Dung?
So good.
It's a really great book. I'll put it in the comments. Do you remember who it was? You'll find it by the title.
Ajahn Brahm?
It's really just about focusing on the present, letting go of your past mistakes, forgiving yourself doesn't mean that you have to let it go, and you know what I mean? Like it's okay to hold guilt. It's not okay to hold toxic shame. Guilt is the thing that stops you from doing the behavior
Right.
again.
That helps
Guilt
you
is what
learn.
helps you learn. But toxic shame just holds you in it keeps you stuck. So I hope that
Poison.
helps.
Poison. It's very evident that Greg has obviously done some work in the relationship. I have worked on myself. That was the correction from later, which I even read and then forgot to add it back in when I read the comment. But yeah, it was fascinating to me too because I've never stayed and put work in. So
Yeah,
I
and
don't
it
know.
just kind of like happened. Like it's not like we just started working on him at that point in 2015. He had started that process years previously in prison.
The I had laid the groundwork.
Yes, exactly. And it took a long time for it to kind of click.
I got half of it, and then I was like, oh, but I still want to maintain some of these real old reckless behaviors.
Yeah, well, you were away in prison for a while. It's like you got not that it's okay, but I can understand how you would want to like YOLO for a minute after getting out
Yeah,
of prison. You just spent 2.5 years stuck.
yeah.
Um, they're talking about medical marijuana. Angel, you can't be on the Is there a reason? If you want to disclose, you don't have
Oh
to. You can
yeah,
text me later.
yeah.
My doctor's been pretty cool about it. Public health care his system is insane. Where did he say he's at?
New York.
Oh,
It's just not a legal state.
yeah.
Which, like, come on, whole country, please.
Right, and it's a moneymaker
At least
too.
decriminalize. Let so many people are in jail for things that is legal in states. Criminal justice reform is a whole other thing.
Do you think that they'll ever do that? Like if it
Yes,
goes legal on a federal level, they'll let people out of prison?
yes.
They have to, right?
You guaranteed they should. I
They
think that's one of the
should
reasons that it's
not
slow
gone.
because they then realize that like it may not be retroactive, but it should be. And that's like I don't know.
Yeah.
And so many of the companies in legal weed are uh like corporations and stuff, and like this is like one of the best chances to like, do something actually good for reparations with like communities who have been most affected by like cannabis policing.
Yeah.
Like you could easily give back to those communities, and we're like, nah, we're giving it to all white corporations.
Yeah.
Makes me insane.
It's unfair.
Like,
Bye, Mario. It's just saw that. Sorry.
yeah, it's
Probably been gone for
probably
a minute.
gone.
Um, so Jasmine, I commented that a while back.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that was her apologizing.
yeah, I say sociopath. I call him a sociopath. I totally I probably put that out there in like the perception. I do that on purpose because dog hair on my lip again. Because YouTube hears what we're saying and actually does like what are they freaking called? Captions? Does captions and then it's used as keywords.
Yeah.
So the more times that I say sociopath, the more times that it triggers it, and it'll
Yeah.
go into the metadata, and then I put it on my
You
tags,
gotta
I
play the
put it in
game.
the title, I put it on the thumbnail. I was against it. Like, I
You
didn't,
have to play the game,
yeah,
man. If you want to make it on YouTube, you gotta go a little bit behind the scenes and tweak the dials
yeah.
and
I took a course in
mess with the settings.
December when I first quit I lost my job. I took a course. That's why I didn't post anything in December, because I was studying. And it was actually really eye opening, and it showed me a lot about the behind the scenes and just setting myself up for success. And that's kind of how this ASPD thing triggered, because I was able to prepare for it. I had all of the videos out there with the tags and all this stuff, and I was proud of it. But like, I learned about using the word sociopath when the whole Johnny Craig and Taylor Nicole Dean situation happened, because I made a video to abused women, like directly. That was my demographic, and I said it, like, and it had a good success. Johnny Craig even messaged me. It was crazy.
Right. That's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Or probably
I
never.
made a video about Johnny Craig, and then he DM'd me. It was crazy. But
End of story. No, you don't get anything else.
and that's on you anymore till later.
Right.
Till I have him sign something that says he won't sue me.
Right.
um, let's see where I lost. Okay, pink is my prescription. Do you think the toxic shame can come from having a narcissistic mother and being sexually abused? Yes, especially if it was brushed under the rug. Toxic shame can just be, it can come from anything. It's really about faulty thinking.
I mean, that's a lot of trauma, so
yeah.
trauma doesn't usually end well. Like,
Because you
especially early.
internalize that. You
Yeah,
think that
we're fragile.
it's especially if with a mother, so you were young, and you internalize that, and you see, as a child, you see the world like as it relates to you. Everything is about you, so you take everything personally. You think that, if something happens, it's because of you, and that can just really shift your whole perception of the world.
Gotta be good to your kids.
Yeah. And
Gotta be good to your kids.
I can't. I love my mom. She's overbearing, but she's like, I'm very lucky. And
They come a lot worse.
yeah, but I can only imagine. And do you like? I don't know if you're in therapy, but I would suggest it. I suggest therapy for everybody, though.
Pretty
But
much almost
narcissism.
everybody.
Greg and I were listening to, what was that band we were listening to last night? From First to Last.
Yeah.
From First to Last. It was an album it came out in like 2004, 2005, and it was very unhealthy lyrics about a relationship. It was like about fighting and screaming at each other. I threw a lamp through your front window.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being a teenager listening to these songs and like internalizing that. Like, I did that. I threw a lamp at my boyfriend, like, and I thought that was like passionate love. And it turns out I was dating a narcissist. Like, I didn't realize how I hit Greg in the face.
You did punch me while we were driving
We were driving, and we were fighting because we couldn't pick up. We didn't have anybody to go to, and he was driving, and I just like decked him, and he didn't hit me back. And I was just like, I was shocked that he didn't hit me back, but like, I was like, what's gonna happen now? Like, I was just so used to that kind of like feisty, passionate fighting, thinking it was love, and it just, yeah. I realized that I dated a whole bunch of narcissists, but yeah, it's just crazy how that stuff really shapes you as a child. I thought that's
nurture,
what relationship was.
That's nurture. That's the nurture that we were talking about.
Yeah.
I love that album, and like,
yeah.
Thankfully, I didn't like. I don't know.
Did you have?
I knew I was more divorced. I was more like into it as music, like. And not to say I learned good, like I did learn some like not great, like very emo. Like I was super emo and just
slit my wrist and black my eyes.
Right, I think because like my real like level of emotion was like not. I had to like heighten it like somehow.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Good Lord,
there's a lot of exploration.
I was so emotional, and like all of those, I thought those were like anthems I was supposed to live by. And my boyfriend was like the lead singer in a band, so like I thought music was
Punk
life.
rock princess.
And I thought, yeah, I was just so naive, so freaking naive.
Aren't we all?
Spotted Elephant said, I'm more aware of BPD now than I was. I actually believe my son has it, but they say guys don't usually, but he's so spot on with it. That would be stupid if they say guys don't. Like, guys, of course they can. That is such a stereotypical response.
We got a long way to go
Yeah.
for mental health.
Yeah.
Come a very, very,
Just
very,
like-
very long way.
Just
But
like females can have ASPD, 100% they can have it. If you search for it, there's at least 2 females that pop up on like the top videos that say that they have ASPD, and they do. It's one of them is
anyone
Faye's
can suffer
system.
from anything. Like if you hit the random button on a human, literally anything can pop up. Like
Yeah.
you know, any combination of anything.
Yeah.
And it has happened because there's so many people. To say that like this thing can't happen,
Yeah.
like come on.
It's just it's an outdated way of thinking, and that's how we think of in mental health and the medical field, because women are told all the time that they're faking it, and like they'll be in legitimate pain, and they're down. It's just downplayed.
There's so many studies about how like the belief, like doctors have held beliefs that black women don't feel pain, so they like would give them less drugs during childbirth. Like
that is insane.
yeah, that's a thing that happened. Like I don't know, man. Somebody will the model, or you can get it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Says, hello, I'm fairly new subscriber. Your stories are very interesting, and I appreciate your advocacy for mental health issues. Someone who struggles myself. Thanks.
Right?
I try. And I try to engage with everybody. Like, I try to engage with all the comments that come in, even the people that are mean, not the people that are nasty and ugly.
Right.
There's some people that I do
Some
like to argue with.
are past saving, or like are too far gone to really even bother giving them the attention.
Some people I respond to not because of them. I respond because of the people that will stumble across their comment, if that makes sense. So, like, I know that arguing with someone online is not going to do anything to change their viewpoint. Like, unless we come to a common ground first, if I can't make that connection, there's like absolutely no way that I'm going to shift their viewpoint at all. Yeah. It's just not possible. No. So the more that they argue and yell at me, the more that I'm solidified in my beliefs, and the more that I argue and yell at them, the more they're solidified in theirs.
We like to think we think like scientists, and instead we think like lawyers. We find the thing that supports our point and we run with it, and we don't
really?
think.
Yeah. I'm writing that down.
I heard that on a podcast today. It's pretty good.
Like lawyers, not scientists.
We like to think.
I know,
but I'll repeat it for you later on.
I just didn't want to write the whole thing out right now. Lazy.
That Angel's probably spot on. That's why the African American population wasn't hit as hard by the opiate crisis, because the ignorance, and doctors really literally thought that they physiologically couldn't feel as much pain, and didn't so it's just suffering. Yeah. Just making people suffer for no reason.
What about having ASPD and being a parent? I mean, that's Greg does. Do you have any questions you can ask? Greg is actually a phenomenal parent. Would I say that everybody with ASPD is going to be? No.
But,
would I
earlier say, me probably wouldn't have been.
Exactly what I was going to say. I think that younger Greg would have ran away from it, and he would have been okay with it.
I almost did.
Yeah.
But.
And I think that the DSM itself says that there is it lessens, the symptoms lessen in the 4th decade of life. So around age 40, the symptoms remit. And it's not just like antisocial behaviors, it's like criminality, substance abuse, like all of it remits, like it gets less. It's still there. They're still very much antisocial. They're still not normal or neurotypical, but they can become a regular person. They could be, I would say, how did you say it? It's like you are living at a lower level, or you have a lower quality of life.
Yeah.
You can be a normal person, but just like at a lower quality of life. I 100% believe that. If you have late onset conduct disorder, if you have at least if you have early, it's less likely to happen. Yeah. But you need to have like a social, like a structure, a family structure. You need to have all these things, and people.
It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, so that means that not everyone will get there.
Yeah. Well, I was reading a study yesterday that said that even people that didn't treat it in therapy,
still get I think because you're still accruing consequences too.
Yeah.
Like over a long enough period of time, you would hope that like even the thickest person would kind of get it a little
Yeah. Yeah, and when you said it's about immaturity, that made
bit.
sense because at age 40, you can't be as immature as a
Real hard to
teenager.
live immaturely at 40. To
Yes.
get to 40, you have to learn certain things.
Yeah. So, let's see.
Davida with a super nice comment.
You are so thoughtful in your words and choose how to respond to comments and respond to things people have said and assumptions people make, and I admire. Thank you. I also like to think about the people that are reading the comments that are maybe have ASPD, maybe are in a relationship with someone with ASPD, or when there's actual like misinformation being spewed at me, like telling me that I'm quoting faulty science, I'm quoting faulty like science articles when I'm literally quoting the DSM. Like I'm quoting like the biggest psychological book.
Not everyone is who they claim they are, know what they claim to
Yeah, then they
know.
throw a DSM link at me, which is a blog post, which compiled other
This is
resources, and I'm like,
the first sign that you did not do your due
yeah,
diligence.
I take this very seriously. I
You put a
enjoy
lot of
this
thought
so
into
much.
everything too.
Yeah, every video that I do, I need to start including resources.
Yeah.
Like I have them, I have all the articles. I don't I don't necessarily pull from them right at the time of filming it.
Yeah, it's more a knowledge based than anything
Yeah,
else. Maybe pick like 6 resources that like compile things well, and
yeah.
just put them in the drop them in
I
everything.
have I have an entire folder like right here. It's in my read later about ASPD in prison, and
Justin, I actually smoke medical cannabis and get cotton mouth, which is probably what you're hearing.
yeah, his mouth is very dry. I can hear
I
the
also have dentures, so that doesn't help me either.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, people say that a lot.
it's a
Especially
fair question. Like I get it.
because look at his eyes.
They're just so pretty.
They're so light
They,
and like soulless.
yeah, soulless is definitely one of the most popular words.
And it's because you have bigger eyebrows. I think it's just your facial structure. So when you think, like, when you give a thinking face, like, you can be, like, stern looking. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Stoic.
yeah.
I would say stoic. But,
Mhm.
no, yeah,
It's
you're
all
fine.
good. You also got like probably more directed at you than you deserved, but
Yeah, we're responding at you, but it's really we're responding at
like
everybody in
17
comments.
people that I wanted to tell that to. I think it's all good.
um,
It is very bad for us.
what?
I can't. You
Love
have to read.
heroin, it's just very bad for us. Yeah, I don't think I love it anymore.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
don't
I would
love it
ever do it
anymore.
again. Like, I know, but there's genuinely a lot of people
We
that
did
are,
drugs because they were great.
yeah,
Like not because they were sucked.
yeah, but it's too scary these days.
I don't want to die.
Yeah,
Don't want to die, and it's death.
yeah.
Guaranteed death.
Angel said that she read an article from the CDC that said that every batch of heroin they tested had fentanyl in it. We gotta get another freaking,
Narcan.
yeah, gave it away to
You know what?
somebody.
You actually need like 3 of them. Like people are taking like
Yeah,
16 milligrams. Brought back.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should go get a couple. We had some and I gave it away to somebody that is struggling.
Yeah.
But
So hopefully it went to Opiates Will Ruin. You're like, Gma. Been a while.
hey, cat,
Right?
kitty cat. Someone asked me if I'm into BDSM because I wear those kitty cat headbands. I just really like to look like a teenager. I try to be trendy.
I love your little headbands, man.
I love the cat ears. I have a whole bunch of them, but they're not as mature looking.
Subtle.
Yeah, they're like rainbow cat ears or big poofy balls. I like
Somebody would
literally.
love them.
I want to get headbands. I just don't know where to buy them. 16 doses? Like 16 doses of Narcan or 16 milligrams
Well,
of Narcan?
if you so the nasal spray is less powerful than the intravenous one. So like the intravenous one, you know what I mean? Stuff it's strong, man.
Yeah.
Like we can't handle the body cannot handle it.
Yeah.
Like it's just respiratory depression, man. 16 milligrams. Yeah, 16 milligrams is like it's either 2 or 3 doses.
Yeah. We're from Pennsylvania. We're right outside Baltimore. Not a pretty place. She said, "You love our pups." You missed it. We had them in our laps and we got all hairy from it.
Yeah.
How many It's 4 milligrams in a dose, I think.
Yeah. So 4, 8, 12.
Yeah.
Jeez, 4 of them. That's crazy.
Where the fluffy ears, like you can't see them; they're hanging up back there. They're literally little girl headbands because I get them at Target.
Super cute. Super cute.
I want to find some online, but I don't know where to shop and get them.
Yeah, Angel said in New York we get 2 4 million. That's what we had in ours, I think.
Yeah.
But again, went to I don't know.
Let's see. Intermittent reinforcement.
No, we did not do breakup and makeup. We have always been on. Like, I've
Well,
never been one for breaks in any of my relationships.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
it's either dip or
we broke up in 2008 when we went to jail, and we were apart for 6 years.
Yeah, different thing entirely.
Yeah. And then we got back together in 2014, and we have been together since New Year's Eve.
Yeah, never been one for breaks and that kind of thing.
I was the type of person that we were always breaking up. We were always breaking up. We were always fighting. We were on a break. It was awful.
I just did bad
That's
things.
how all the cheating happened.
Well, I just did dumb things while I was still dating them. It
Yeah.
probably would have been better to go on a break, but
Yeah.
I just did.
No, it's
You know what I
exactly
mean?
the same. They still get mad at you.
Still
Just
feels the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So I. Yeah.
I heard Alabama. I mean, it's bad everywhere. It's really bad everywhere. It's just scary too. It's scary. Like I was reading a study actually about like the lack of treatment in rural counties across America. There are literally so many counties. There are counties in Pennsylvania that don't have prescribers.
Yeah.
Like that is insane.
Yeah.
How are we not treating this? How is it? How I don't want to talk about this stuff because it always gets my videos demonetized.
Redirect.
I have a video coming up. I'm gonna talk more about that other stuff. You know that stuff that I like to take. I can't say it. How do I say this? I like to eat subs. And yeah, that works.
Yeah.
I like to eat subs, and YouTube doesn't like it when I eat subs. So I'm gonna start sharing some stuff on my Patreon. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because I feel confident there. It's like $1 for the lowest tier, and I'll just start sharing it there.
Join, y'all. Join. Did I ever have fun in jail or prison? Yeah. I mean, I worked out every day. I did like some like CrossFit P90X stuff, and I loved it. Like those people become like family to you. You're stuck with them. I played Pinochle like every day and had a ton of fun. You make the best of it, and like it's still my worst day out here is better than my best day in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just.
We never did our reaction video to like old pictures, so you guys still don't know what Greg looks like when he's like jacked, like 135 pounds, like of muscle, which doesn't sound like much, but he's 5 feet tall.
Right.
I'm 5 feet tall. We're very little.
And then there's little emo me pictures in that too.
Yeah.
We will do it one day.
I
maybe.
did share those. I just never showed your like glow up. Now you get him here.
Right. Now I'm a skinny biker.
I had fun in jail too, though. I met a really great friend in there who I'm still friends with. Like, we don't talk as often, but her name was also Megan. And I worked on work release, so I got to actually leave the prison. And I had a normal life. It taught me a work ethic. It taught me how to, like, just be responsible. And I didn't know how to do that before. I didn't know how to wake up and go to work every day. I had been an addict for so long that it's just, like, it was always about scheming and doing whatever I could. And it didn't, like, I had no structure. And prison gave me that. I wish that I were able to have such a lasting structure. Like I wish that I had learned what you learned while you were in prison. Like that structure.
How to wake up.
Yeah.
How to do
but like you have to be there longer. You know what I mean? 7.5 months is not long enough, I don't think, to make like a
not
lasting
on work
change.
release.
Yeah.
Like while you're still 1 foot in the outside.
Yeah. And well, I mean, in county jail, it's also like a whole bunch of sitting around. So at least when I was on work release, I got up and had to go to work at a consistent time every day. I got to work 6 days a week usually. But if I had been in the back, like it's a free for all. You sit around and draw and like play cards. Like there's like no meetings, no classes, nothing. It's a joke. It's literally a joke. It's no punishment. Like, it's a punishment to be away from your kids and family. But you are literally just sitting, hanging out, and a lot of people don't care. Where are we at?
Oh yeah, Canada, man. Canada's got the good healthcare.
Yeah. Oh, look on
Canada
Etsy.
is I would love to move to Canada because they got all the mountain biking spots. That's why I want to go to Canada. And stuff is cheaper and healthcare is much better and they don't have as many guns. It's just a little bit colder.
I don't like the cold.
I don't either, but I like less guns.
I do like snowboarding. Maybe I could get back into that. So you would say intermittent reinforcement is probably more of a narcissistic personality disorder thing. Yes. 100%, because that's what my ex-boyfriends were, and that was a very constant thing for me. That was like I would always fuck up, and then they would break up with me, and then like when I would go out and like move on even in the slightest bit, it would be like throw it in my face again. Like it was terrible. Up until a few years ago, we only had 2 prescribers who could only see. Yep. Gosh, it's so stupid.
Okay, more on
More
that later.
jail and prison stories. We've been thinking about doing that. We want to redo Greg's. We want to redo a couple
Yeah.
of Greg's first videos. He looked back on some of them and how he had long hair and he didn't like it.
I don't like it.
Well,
And like it's hard for me to adjust to being in front of the camera, and I feel better now.
yeah, you're more comfortable in your own skin too, because you're still quirky. Like you still have like.
I'm a strange person.
Yeah, I mean, if you
And
guys haven't picked up on that, like our demeanor's weird. We do like weird things. Like he's
a strange person.
Yeah, that's just who we are. People are always like, "Why is she so neurotic? Why is she so?"
Oh, they always just say we're on drugs, but like.
Oh no, they tell me that I'm scared.
Oh yeah, that you're terrified of me?
Yeah.
I'm so intimidating. Let me tell you.
I saw someone said their husband's 5'2". Krista.
Yeah, but he is currently struggling with addiction, I believe.
No, I didn't see that part. Yeah, he's currently in treatment.
No. So did he come home from jail?
No, he's currently in treatment.
Right. Comes home Monday. Okay. If I would just read better, it would be okay. But yeah, any tips for what? Staying clean and doing the right thing? A lot of them.
I'm like trying to find where in the chat we're at right now. You're not reading them out loud.
Oh, I'm just reading all of Krista's.
Okay, he's not reading them.
I'm real bad at that.
I don't know what he's talking about. Okay.
You can't read my mind?
No. Hubby's 5'2". He's currently in treatment. Comes home Monday. Both had the same clean time, but he went back. And he's very well. What I would do is I feel like I'm missing one.
Love him where he is.
Love him where he is, but protect you.
Yes.
Do you have you considered any boundaries or anything like that? Have you thought about what will happen if he steals money, uses money for something? What will happen if he goes out and doesn't tell you where he's at? What will happen if you catch him in a lie? What will happen? Think about all of the bad, like I hate to do that to you. There's a hair right there. Think about all of the bad situations and decide what you are going to do. Write it down if you have to, but whatever you decide, stick to it because those are your boundaries. That is how you're going to protect yourself. And I know that in the moment you're going to want to be like, "Oh, well, it wasn't that big of a lie," or "Oh, it wasn't that much money."
Possibly.
You have to decide because you love. If love is there, it's going to happen. So all you have to do is think about them, but like not only think about like what if he does this, like decide what you will do.
Have a plan.
Yeah, because I always say hope for the best, but expect the worst.
Because like it's you, the worst part about it is like you can't make him change. Like it's just the perspective to like grow out of that kind of stuff is hard to come by, and like I don't know, man, it's really tough. It's tough to, cause especially like when I won't do anything that I don't want to do, like, and I'm not. If someone tells me to do something, I'm less likely to do it. You know what I mean? It just kind of.
For me, if I were to come out, I agree with that. I see that in you, but for me, it was always about me getting clean, and no one. I felt like for the longest time, no one loved me when I wasn't clean, when I was struggling, when I was because there was a period of time when I was out of jail, doing okay, but still fucking up occasionally, and I couldn't tell anyone. I didn't know how, I felt like no one loved me until I got better, and it puts all this pressure on you. So with my best friend Brent, I made sure to love him where he was.
And do everything you could to like so that you would be okay with anything that happened to.
Yeah. So I put my boundaries in place. You know, I knew if he stole money from me, this is what we would do. If he called me and asked for this, this is what I would do. And I loved him as the hot glittering
Hot
mess he
mess.
was. And I tried my best, but I know that he did better. He did better than he had ever done in that last year after losing his wife.
And
even.
he knew people cared.
Yeah. So I knew that. Yeah, it's scary. He overdosed on July 3rd. Just protect you and your boys. Just love him though, because I don't know how he's feeling. I don't know him or anything about him either, you know. So he might come home and just
Hopefully he
feel
doesn't
like shit. He
like,
might be.
and if he doesn't want to die, like,
That's the way that I would frame it. I wouldn't worry about like you're fucking up
it's
your
hard.
life, you're ruining all this. It's like you're gonna die.
Yeah.
67% chance of overdose. Like it's
Yeah.
terrifying.
I literally, to me, if going back out is as good as putting a loaded gun to my head.
Yeah.
It truly is. Which, I'm sorry, that's not comforting.
But you're not alone. You're
Not
not
at
alone,
all.
and you can always reach out to me on Instagram. I have that women's Facebook group. I don't want you to. I wouldn't say leave.
Yeah, because that
I
might.
wouldn't jump the gun because you don't know what it's gonna be like. Just message me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm probably gonna be going to bed here shortly after this, but like I'm off during the day, so we can definitely talk about this tomorrow. And I don't know. I have so much I could say about it.
Yeah.
So definitely hit me up. You have Instagram because it's the same username as here, or you can hit me up on the Facebook group. And hi Marie, I saw the message. She deleted it, but I know. I didn't want to ignore her. I didn't want to ignore her. Let's see. Yeah, drugs are definitely a side effect, or they're a symptom of a problem. There was another one I saw in here. Would you ever bother to try with the narcissistic exes? Or are they really a lost cause? Well, I don't think my opinion is that valid because we were teenagers. So, like, I would never try with.
Yeah, they're different people now, and they're.
Yeah. I don't know them anymore.
Right.
But, like, I wouldn't have tried then. And I just think, like, we were so young and stupid. Like I said, throwing, like, lamps at each other and just crazy manipulation and but we thought that's what love was. Not because, I think they've grown up a lot and they all have really good lives now. With the exception, I think, of, like, one of them, two of them.
3 of them.
But,
4 of them.
it's called this. I can't. I think this is the. Shit, how's it go? Groups / something like that, I think is the link. But it's from Recovery to Discovery with Megan F. That is the name of the group. And it's got the same, whatever the thumbnail is right now is the group banner or whatever. I'm not really good at Facebook. But yes, your kids are the most important, and so are you, though.
Yeah.
Don't forget you.
Because you gotta take care of your kids.
Yeah.
Because if you don't take care of you.
Yep. I'm sad Brent's gone too. We were just talking about him last night.
All the time.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just gonna be how it is. I can do
That's the best thing you can do, though. Like.
Yeah, I can talk about him and tear up but not cry now. So that's a little
Progress.
better. Yeah, and we listened to Bayside last night, which was really important. I listened to music from first to last into Bayside, and I didn't cry.
I didn't cry either.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Right. Metal music makes me cry.
Yeah, music makes me cry. Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just about anything makes me cry these days. But yeah, we should probably get going.
Sure.
The little boy's gonna be home soon, and we'll get ready because it's late now.
Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Like,
yeah, this was a lot of fun.
A bunch of you were here the whole time.
Yeah, right? You guys stayed the entire time. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys so much.
Right.
Yeah.
We love you.
I got a couple videos in the works. I don't know which ones I'm gonna put up next. I got actually a story about my puppies. How I got all my puppies. I got a sensory processing video. I still have a diploma vlog that I never posted. I still have an interview that I never posted from September, Recovery Month, about MAT. It was actually an interview with a really cool guy named Mark, and I feel really bad that I never posted it. But
Stuff happens.
yeah, my friend died, and she
Right.
got hard.
Stuff happens.
And I have a carpal tunnel vlog that I have to edit. So I got a whole bunch of videos coming.
Right?
Yeah.
The carpal tunnel vlog.
That was also like 6
Months ago. Alrighty.
But
Leave a like on your way out if you haven't already.
Yeah. Bye guys. Be weird, be kind. Bye.
See ya.
End.